Hey guys, part 5. Part 5. Welcome to the conclusion. Thank you so much for following along this story for the last month. I really appreciate the comments, liking, sharing, and commenting. Please, please comment below what you think about this story. Should I do another one? I have a couple other stories from Korea that I could share with you guys. So, part 5 coming up right after this. All right, Miss J's on the phone. Mr. K, please help me get a lawyer for my criminal case so I don't get deported. I don't remember how long he waited, but it wasn't very soon. He basically said, I'm not going to do anything. You're going to have to take care of this yourself. He basically washed his hands of her. From what I understood is that she waived extradition and went back to Korea, like was deported within 6 weeks and went back to Korea. So he contacted a lawyer in the meantime, and the lawyer basically said, well, because she's on a spousal visa, you can fight to clear her name, which obviously at this point, sorry, it was during the process. The lawyer said something along the lines of, you have several options, and basically he said, I'm not going to help her. She's gone back to Korea. I want a divorce. He says, well, you can do things. You can fight for divorce today, now, or you can wait 2 years and claim abandonment and show that she has not returned or tried to return or made an effort. She's abandoned you, not that you haven't tried, because it was her criminal activity, something like that. Anyway, so he basically says, you know, I'll just do it now. I'll file for divorce now and pay and go through the whole process now. In the interim, 6 weeks, she's calling, begging. He doesn't answer. Then she ends up in Korea, calling him, begging. He finally picks up, and she's like, you know, I'm so sorry, you know, blah, blah, blah. Just a sob story, what have you. Basically, in the end, he says, I want nothing to do with you. All I want is a divorce. Sign the papers in Korea and send them back. She goes, well, she goes, okay, I'll do that, but there's something you have to do for me. He's like, what do you want? And she's like, well, there's money. And he's like, oh yeah, the police never found the money. Now, she didn't tell him where. And she's like, I'll have someone in America contact you. Now he's like, what? So now he's thinking and thinking and thinking again, because he's been, you know, he hasn't really been thinking about that, the money, because the police have closed the file. They don't care anymore. It's over. She's gone, deported. Case is closed. But he's wondering where the money is. Now, it's probably October, November. And, you know, everybody in his company knows what has happened. The rumors have gone around, the word has spread as to what happened, and, you know, everyone is sympathetic to his situation. So he finally has an idea. Florida. So he gets together with his friend and they go down to Florida. He gets time off work, he gets a couple weeks off, and they head down to Florida. And they start searching the Florida home everywhere. Now you have to remember, this is a 2-bedroom bungalow, 3-bedroom bungalow of his mother's. It's old. It's stuffed full of her stuff. And you know an old person, they collect things. So there's tons of hiding spaces. So they're looking everywhere, tearing the place apart, looking here, looking there, looking everywhere. And they Start looking in the basement, under this, under that. And the friend goes, wait a minute, there's a whole wall from here to here of books. Magazines stacked this high on the ground, piles of magazines. He pulls out a book, flips open the pages. What do you think falls out? Money. And they just stand there and look at each other. This is the verbatim from Mr. J told me. They just stood there and they just went, and you could see the light bulb go off in their head, and they start pulling books off the shelves, starting going through magazines, and bill after bill after bill after bill. 20s, 50s, 100s, 10s. Every denomination just falling out. Every book had thousands of dollars in it. So they start going through all of these books, and then they go back through the whole house, through all the books in the whole house. And after 3 days of this, he said 3 days of searching. I don't know if they searched the books for 3 days, but 3 days of searching. After 3 days of searching, how much money do you think they found? I'll give you a minute to calculate. 2 years, $1,000 a week, $100,000? No. $150,000? No. $200,000? $273,000 in cash. I'm going to say that again. $273,000 in cash. I don't know how she made that much money. Maybe it was 3 years. I'm not sure. Anyway, I know the amount was accurate because that's what he told me. Now this is cash. What is he going to do with it? He can't leave it here. Can't put it in the bank. He can't. What is he going to do with it? So this is what he does. He goes to the bank, gets a safety deposit box, biggest one they got, and he puts as much of it as he can into that safety deposit box. I think he got 1 or 2, whatever, the biggest one he can get, and he put it all in there. And he takes about 90,000, 100,000 back with him to Alaska. Now, in the meantime, she's been calling and texting and whatever. He's not answering. He settles in back home. You know, his friend, he offered his friend some money, and his friend said, no, I don't want this. This is all yours. You know, he gave his friend some money, said, listen, fix your truck, do whatever, you know, don't tell your wife. But I'm pretty sure he told the wife. Anyway, gave his friend some money. So he's back home, and he's getting calls from her, and he's like, yeah, I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do. He hasn't told her he's found the money. And she's like, well, I need you to decide soon, because I need to take care of my business here in Korea. You screwed me up. He's like, whatever. Hangs up, and he gets back to his life. He keeps ignoring her calls. About 2 weeks later, he gets a phone call from the Florida police. Florida police say, you know, your house has been broken into. And he's just like, well, what happened? What's missing? He says, well, it doesn't look like anything's missing. It looks like they ransacked the basement. And then someone may have interrupted them and they ran off, because only the basement has been ransacked. Now, he had cleaned up afterwards, right? I mean, it's his house. He had cleaned everything up. Now, the police there don't know about the case, right? Sorry, let's wait till this passes. So The police in Florida, Miami or wherever, don't know about the case, right? So they don't put 2 and 2 together. They just think it's a home burglary. So he says, so he calls one of his, friends in Florida to come and, take care of everything in the house and board everything up and fix whatever damage there was. And he leaves it at that. And a few days later, he gets a call from Korea. He answers this one, and she's yelling and screaming at him. I know you took the money, blah, blah, blah. I says, oh, so it was your friends. And she's like, they know where you live. And he says, really? Well, I gave all the money to the police. And all the recordings of every voicemail, every text message you gave me. So if you want the fingerprints that the police took from the house and your information being forwarded to the American police and the Korean police, then you will never call me again. She's like, oh, no, don't do that. Because he never told the police about whose fingerprints they could be, right? He's not putting, and she doesn't know. She doesn't know. The police have taken the fingerprints, but they're not going to investigate because it's a low priority crime. It's a B&E. They'll run the fingerprints. If nothing comes up, that's it. So, oh, no, don't. These are just my friends. They're not criminals. They're just, people who are trying to help me. Says, if I ever see anyone near my house, near my family, near my friends, near whatever, he doesn't have family, near my friends, near me, near my house or anything, if I see a Korean anywhere near me, I'm calling the cops. Calling the cops in Korea, and I'll let them know. Because the police in America have your money. I don't have it. He lied. So, that was the twist. Did you guys think that was the twist? What an incredible story. So what ended up happening? Well, he ended up taking the money. He donated a lot of it anonymously. He fixed up his truck. He retired early. He did that. And he moved to Florida, sold his mom's house, and ended up in Texas. And he met someone, got married, settled down, and is really happy with his life, happy with his partner, American. So, yeah, great story, great ending. Most of these stories, you hear about guys being scammed by professional people, losing everything. In this one, he just had his heart broken, lost a few years of his life, stressed out for a year, maybe, depression or whatever from heartbreak. But overall, he came out ahead. So that is the moral of this story. I want to thank everyone for liking, sharing, commenting, and for watching. Sri Lanka Sammi, living life. I'm out.